It has been a while, but if this is your first time here, my name is Rachel, and this is the Life in Knit podcast. Today I am doing a special episode. If you are anything like me, it is now nearing the end of 2025, which is scary, and you are starting to think about what you're going to make next year. I know it is something that I keep thinking about and going over and over my queue and favorites and all that kind of thing. But I thought that today I would do a little bit of going over what I actually wear. That is always the biggest thing for me. I always try to find the little holes in my wardrobe that need to be filled. But the biggest one for me is what I actually wear. I have quite a pile of knitwear at the moment. But I turn to the same couple of things over and over and over again. So I thought I would talk through it a little bit with you and see what all of the different commonalities are, what is the same between them, what is different, and how I can take that and move into the next year with successful makes that I will wear time and time and time again. Today I am primarily going to be looking at my sweaters, but I thought I would do an honorable mention, which is currently the elephant in the room, because I wear it almost every day. As soon as it starts getting cold, this is what I gravitate to, and that hasn't changed since I finished it and put it on for the first time. I will put a picture in the corner of this beautiful thing in all its glory, but it's the Oops, I Did It Again shawl by Knit Graffiti, so it is just straight brioche from top to bottom. I used the Addams Family Halloween Fade from Fantasy Fibers Yarn Co. And the contrast color, which you can see a little bit better on this side, is Gandalf, which she currently has some in her shop still. This is on her fingering weight tweed, which is a beautiful base, which is unfortunately leaving. So definitely go check out her shop for what is left for that before it is completely gone. But yeah, I wear this shawl every day. It's a neutral with a little bit of pops of color, but it is the pops of color that fit in best with my wardrobe. So burgundies through to like a grayish green. There are a couple of blues at the bottom that I kind of left out because it was up to about 900 stitches in brioche, and that was big enough for me. It's already got about a 7.5 foot wingspan and is long enough for anything that I would ever want. But yeah, shall we get into it? First and foremost is the sweater that I wear more than anyone should ever wear a single sweater ever. This is the Nightshade Society sweater by Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn. This is Aster. She's a little needy today. Sorry already. Hi, you. Can we lay down, please? Down. I'm the only one home right now, so the dogs might make an appearance in or out. I will try to keep their crazy whines to a minimum in the final project. We'll see. Yeah, so this is the Nightshade Society sweater by Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn. I love her sweaters. You'll see a couple of them here, I'm sure. And they just fit so well on everybody. They're really nice classics with a bit of a twist. So this one has this beautiful detail all up and down the sleeve, and it is just perfect. Get your butt out of the way. This I knit about 2.5 years ago, and I've been wearing it consistently ever since. I do have yarn picked out for a second one of these because I need to knit a second one before I wear this thing to pieces. It is holding up really, really well, which is just a credit to the yarn dyers that were a part of it, and also the design, because it's a drop shoulder, so it is a little baggier, so you don't have the wear like underneath the armpits that you do in any tighter fitting sweaters, which is super handy. And like, I have never taken a depiller to this ever, and it still looks fantastic. I get more compliments on this than anything else in my wardrobe either too, so that's great. The yarn for this one, so it is a fingering held with a suri. The fingering weight is Zawu by Fantasy Fiber Co. and Fantasy Fibers Yarn Co. Do I even know my best friend's yarn company or not? And I've had this one for ages, and yeah, it's beautiful, total orange with burgundy pops, a little bit of lighter tones. It is absolutely stunning. I've got a pair of socks leftovers. Maybe I can see if I can find those so you can actually see what it looks like by itself, because it's also beautiful yarn by itself. The sari is Chai by Fireweed Fiber Co. She dyed it up specially for me to match, but I believe it is now a regular colorway. Erin is fantastic and will dye up. If you're looking for sweater quantities, we'll dye up custom orders for you if you ask her nicely. She's great. But yeah, the little cable and lace detail down the sleeve is perfect. I really enjoy this one because it is warm, but not too warm. So even in my office, which is like hot to cold, it's always great. But it is definitely warm enough that, like, on the -4 day not too long ago, I was able to walk around outside in this and not freeze my butt off. This one and the shawl, to be fair, because again, that goes with me everywhere. If I leave the house, it's probably with me. Yeah, definitely hands down my most worn sweater. I wear this at least once or twice a week. It's a little pathetic, but it's holding up great. And yeah, I think I'm gonna make a second one that is literally everything the same except for the yarn. I should show you the yarn that I'm using for it. So my new one is going to be entirely Fantasy Fibers yarn. I snagged these from her Lord of the Rings stock from before it even went up, because I am lucky and spoiled rotten and I get to see everything before it actually happens. So I'm going to be using her Morally Gray base for this one. So it's a Yak Silk Merino blend. It is so soft. So it 65% merino, 20% silk, and 15% yak. The softest base imaginable. Like, it is ridiculous. So this is the Black Gate, so primarily dark, like charcoaly, but there is some like brighter, dark brown burgundy spots in it. It is stunning. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, this has to happen. I'm going to hold that with Balrog on her Dark Pass Lace, which is her Baby Alpaca Merino Yak Silk blend. So this is, again, super soft. I did a sample knit for her with these two held double, and it is one of the softest things I've ever touched in my life. That whole sweater was a joy to knit. This is an off batch of it, which is also up on her shop. It has a lot more brighter tones to it, and the brighter is a dark burgundy. So as soon as she saw it, she knew that it had my name all over it. Like, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. But yeah, so it's gonna be super dark, super moody, and the same but different, which is nice. So if I'm gonna be doing the same project again, especially if I'm not gonna be making many changes to it, because the only thing I can maybe change is the slightly lower neckline, and that's just a me thing. Tristan, I think I already did a slightly lower neckline. Tristan likes the crew necks a lot, which is great for a lot of people, but if you have sensory issues like me, you can even tell, like, I pull this down a lot because I have sensory issues. There's nothing wrong with the yarn. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. Just anything anywhere near my neck drives me insane. So I might cut it a little bit lower even still than I did. Which is a super easy modification to make if you are interested. But yeah, so I think these two held together are going to be gorgeous and super dark and very different from this one. So it'll be a nice, more neutrally one, which might not be the most helpful thing because all I wear is black. But yeah, very excited to that one. I think this one might be one of my next cast-ons because, like I said, I'm gonna wear this thing to death, and if it ever actually dies, I will be heartbroken. So make a second one now before it's too late. My second most worn sweater is completely different, so cardigan instead of the pullover. This is the Plumule Cardigan by Celine Payton of Celine Knits. Hey, it is a fantastic fitting cardigan. I did a test knit for this one a while ago. This one is also with yarn from Fireweed Fiber Co. This is her tweed base, and this is a red-breasted nuthatch, I believe. Colorway, if it's wrong, I'll put it right here. From her birds collection that she did a while ago. It was a club, I think, 4 or 5 years ago again. But I held on to the yarn for a while. I got it in the fingering way as well. Shocker. Red, gray. You got me. Especially mixed with a dye that I love. I always say I get into trouble because I have too many friends that are yarn dyers, so sometimes it comes with perks, like being able to pre-order giant quantities of yarn from them. This one, one of my favorite things about it is not only the fit, because it does fit beautifully. It fits on the shoulders really nicely. The sleeves are great. I did it a little bit longer than I think the pattern called for, but I love it. And it used almost every little bit of 8 full skeins. So with my size, I'm not a small human, but it does eat up a lot of yarn because it is a longer cardigan. But no, not 8, 6 skeins, not 8. 8 was a different sweater. My favorite thing about this is the pockets. It has enormous pockets. I can shove my whole hand in there and still have room. Like, that's past my watch for my wrist. So pockets are fantastic, and they're built in, so you don't have to pick them up and do them after, which is not fun for anyone. But the pockets are incredible, and I love them. And yeah, also the button band is knit on as you go, which means you don't have to pick up 5 million stitches at the end to knit on a button band when you just want to be done the sweater. So when it's done, which is fantastic. I've already made a second one of these. So I knit a second one about spring last year. I did it in the Polka Dot Creek Midnight yarn on their DK base, and I'm still contemplating a third one. I have already seen some trends in my most worn sweaters, and I think I'm going to do another one with fingering weight held with Surrey. It's what I wear the most. They're so soft and so cozy. So I think I might do a third Plumule cardigan in that one. But it's a nice basic staple. So I do wear the Midnight one a lot because it's a nice dark blue, which goes again with everything. But this one was the first one, and it's beautiful and soft. Erin has fantastic yarn. It holds up really, really well. I have done a bit of a detailing on this one in like the underarms again, because that's gonna be your most worn spot. But other than the underarms, it's holding up really, really well. Yes, there's some flex on it, but that's because it's straight. But I've worn the bejesus out of this, and it's held up really, really well. Yeah, highly recommend. Unsurprisingly, Erin's yarn and Celine's patterns in general. I've done a few from her, and they're really well written. She writes in shaping beautifully, so you don't have to do the math. You don't have to think for it, which is fantastic. If I'm following a pattern, I don't want it to be harder than it has to be. And if people are going to actually go through all the trouble of putting the time in, it's incredible. And she took a lot of really excellent feedback from her testers from top to bottom, which is beautiful. Yeah, it's the Plumule Cardigan by Celine Payton. Definitely recommend for the pockets alone. Yeah, even if the rest of the cardigan was awful, which it's not, I would recommend it for the pockets alone. Yeah. The next one up is a new sweater that I already know is going to be a favorite. I finished this one about a month and a half ago, so brand spanking new. This is the Winter Court cardigan by, again, Tristan of Dragonhoard Yarn. I told you her patterns fit beautifully, so I will end up wearing them over and over and over again. So this is one of her newer releases. Newest sweater. I think she's released a cowl since then, but newest sweater pattern. And has this beautiful shawl collar. It is cold as heck in this house right now. It is snowing outside and like -5, and I keep my house cold. So I keep the shawl collar a little higher. It does fall down a little nicer. But this is, again, the Winter Court cardigan. It is Surrey held with DK, so it's a little bit heavier than a lot of my other ones. Again, works great as like a jacket replacement. I've been wearing this a lot with the colder weather, and I was wandering after losing my car due to an oil change outside in -5, and it was fine. But I have temperature issues that a lot of people don't have. So this is the Reef DK from Sea Turtle Fiber Arts as the DK skein in sprinkles. So you can see all these really pretty flecks of neon in it. You can't see them super well on the camera, but I promise you they're there in person. Held with Mary Margaret Fibers Surrey. Her Surrey lasts forever. I don't know what it is about it, but again, not a small human, and I made this sweater with 2.5 skeins of Surrey. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I ended up buying a couple more from her because I thought I was going to run out, and did not come close to running out. There are supposed to be buttons on this cardigan. I have the buttons. I've had the buttons for weeks. Have I put the buttons on? No. But it'll be beautiful buttoned up, and it's clearly beautiful open. The nice thing about the Surrey held with DK is that it hides any impurities like buttonholes. So you can't even tell that it's supposed to be buttoned up. But it has this really pretty texture. She has a pullover with this texture on it too. It is gorgeous. If you make this one, I would recommend using stitch markers to mark at least every 4 or 5 repeats, especially the first one of the pattern, because I had to write back, and I know a few of the testers did too. She changed things after we tested it, so it's a little more clear in the final pattern, but I still recommend stitch markers to make sure that you stay on track for the texture, because it is a beautiful texture and you don't want to mess it up. Yeah, like I said, the beautiful texture, which takes this simple cardigan and just adds a little extra. So she's really, really good on that. Everything fits well. Her grading is beautiful, so it looks great on smaller people. It looks great on the bigger sizes. She tests everything all the way from smallest to biggest size, and I think she's got 10 sizes in the pattern, either 9 or 10. And they all look beautiful on everybody. So I do a size 6 in her patterns, and yeah, fits great. Sleeves are fantastic, which is often a problem with grading, is that you find sleeves not fitting well. But yeah, hers are fantastic. It is a super cozy cardigan, and it's brand new, so I don't know how it's going to wear yet, but I assume it's going to be fantastic. Yeah, and again, a little oversized, not quite as oversized as some of the other ones, but still has that couple extra inches of positive ease, which I am realizing I enjoy a lot more than I thought I did. I have been picking smaller sizes on average lately, but I do still like the roomier cardigans, especially, or just roomier in general. Most of my most worn ones, if you haven't noticed, do have a little bit more positive ease. The other thing I'm noticing, like I'd already said, they also do have Surrey. So the coziness and the softness, I think, is what gets me. The fuzziness coming off on things at the beginning does get a little bit annoying, but Surrey does it a lot less than mohair. So if you haven't tried Surrey yet, definitely give it a try, because it does make a really big difference. It's the Winter Court Cardigan by Tristan Molina of Dragon Horde Yarn. Yeah. Try out her patterns. She's got a bunch of really excellent ones, and they're all incredible. Yeah, definitely give them a try. Next up is one I've had for about a year and a bit now. This is the Hideaway Cardigan by Hook Mountain Handmade. You guys are gonna get sick of this because it's, again, Surrey held a finger. This cardigan I really like because it's a really nice in the middle. So it's written for DK, but you can do it with the fingering in Surrey. There is someone that did it in a sport yarn. It looked beautiful. It is all over lace. Simple eyelets. You can't see it too well because I did a variegated yarn for this one, clearly. Well, there you go. So it is all over eyelet lace in a really simple pattern from top to bottom. It is the comfiest thing ever. It goes on over everything. It travels really well. I brought it with us to Europe last year, and it was the perfect extra layer, from being able to throw it on the airplane. When it got too hot, it was a pillow on the train from the airport to Rome. It was a great layer for at nights when it got too cold, in the mornings when it got too cold. It was just that little thing that I brought everywhere. And because it's fingering how to Surrey, at least mine is, it folds up and doesn't look wrinkly, ever. So yeah, I wear this one all the time. This is yarn again from Fantasy Fibers Yarn Co. I'm biased. She's my best friend. But it's also where my husband buys all my Christmas and birthday presents. So this was, I think, Christmas yarn one year. This is from her Twilight collection. It is the Volturi Don't Give Second Chances on her Enemies to Lovers, so her sock base held with her Surrey. Again, beautiful burgundy. As soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it. And she threw it at my husband and made him pay for it. So extra bonus. Hi, Esther. Yeah, it fits beautifully. It's a nice, easy layer for everything. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. I've worn it with a jean skirt on a random day to a really pretty black dress for date night. It's just that nice extra little bit if you don't know what the temperature is going to be. Not as good this time of year because when it's this cold, you don't want the built-in air conditioning. But for especially shoulder seasons, it is the perfect little layer. It works great even in the summertime. Like the days when we were in Italy were hitting mid to high 30s, but it was nice for that little extra layer for dinner and stuff like that. So definitely recommend. Everyone's looks so pretty. She also has the Hideaway pullover now too. So if you like the look of it and the feel of it, but don't want a cardigan, she now has a pullover. I also really like the sleeves on this one. So they're more balloony sleeves. So you get the like room all the way through, and then you do quick decreases right before the cuff. And I like it a lot more than I should. Than I thought I would, not that I should. I definitely wasn't sure about it when I first knit it because it's not a style that I've ever done before. But they're so comfy. And with the length, I do like basically hitting in the middle of my hand when my hands are at rest, but it's also loose enough that you can pull them up if you want. So yeah, super recommend this one. Any of her patterns in general, I've done a lot of test knitting for her and worked up a lot of her patterns in general, and they're all stunning. So definitely recommend that one. Yeah, Hideaway Cardigan. Oh, you can see the eyelets a little bit more there. But yeah, super nice layering piece. It would be really fun in. There's a couple of girls that did in like a cotton to be more of like a summer knit, and that one looked really pretty. There was one tester that did in like a linen merino blend that was stunning. So that would definitely be something I'd think of for next time. I do have some linen, but I think it's a lace weight. So that might not be the perfect yarn for a second one of these, but I've definitely been thinking about a second one. Yeah, it was a really well written cardigan. Again, it looks good on everybody. Her grading is beautiful. So yeah, definitely recommend Hideaway Cardigan. Next up is my Lace and Fade Boxy. So again, this is another one that I've already knit two of. So I tested this one for, it's by Hohi Locatelli. I tested this one before it came out. I was lucky enough to be called on for that one. I've got two of them. Neither one of them actually fade. So I've just done straight main color and contrast for both. I do have the second one's behind me. I do wear this one a lot as well, but I tend to wear this one a little bit more. So again, moody, dark tones. And then this one was a bit of a stretch for my color palette normally. So this is the one I actually did the test knit for. So this was the first. And this one I did a straight up lace weight instead of the fuzzy lace like this one and what the pattern actually calls for. But again, neither one of them are faded. My first one is a merino cashmere nylon blend from Lillian Pine, who is unfortunately no longer dying anymore due to an injury, but her yarn is fantastic. If you can find her on a D-Stash or anywhere, snag it. It's beautiful. This one was Siren Song, and this is the Sea Silk from Fleece Artist Handmaiden. So it's their Sea Cell and Silk blend. It's beautiful. I really like with this one because you can see the lace a lot more. It's a lot more defined and it's a little bit more summery. So in the summertime, I wear the bejesus out of this one. And then more in the shoulder seasons and such again, this one is a little bit more me. So this is the Supernatural yarn that Fantasy Fibers Yarn Co. for both these ones. This was her Supernatural Hideaway collection yarn from a while ago. And then the Supernatural yarn that is on her Enemies to Lovers fingering. So it's our like 80/20 sock base. It's a beautiful, beautiful base. I just like the flux of all the different colors in it. She is bringing her Supernatural collection back next year. So keep your eyes posted. It's called Love Me Some Pie, this one. And then the black is on her Surrey base again. And it's Harbinger. It's a really nice black, but not black. So it's like super, super dark brown almost to the black. As it's just a little bit warmer and richer than like your traditional jet black. Yeah, beautiful. Wears them all the time. The biggest issue that a lot of people run into with this one is because it is oversized as all heck. Like there's a good 12-ish inches of positive ease. So because I've done the Boxy a few different times and always had issues with the sleeves like everybody else does. But it's because they're supposed to start at your elbow. So if you don't do it with the recommended ease in the pattern, you do have to do a lot of math to try to figure it out. But I like this one because it is super oversized, but it doesn't look sloppy because of the lace. So you can kind of see where my body sits a little bit more. Like normally people that are on the pluser size don't recommend as much positive ease in general, but I think this one I did with almost 20 inches of positive ease. And it is super comfy, so it's really nice to wear with anything. I'll still definitely do it with more fitted bottoms just so it's not totally sloppy, but definitely runs the lines of good but not good, but it is the comfiest thing on the planet. I have thought about doing a third one that's actually faded with the minis from her Alice collection because I think that would be super fun. So it's definitely something that's like on the top of my mind, and the minis are sitting right there just staring at me. So I think that would be a lot of fun, but we'll see if I actually do it because I'm very good at talking about doing things but not actually doing it. Again, the Lace and Fade Boxy by Hohi Logatelli. And last but not least, because it is December, so it is that time of year where a lot of people are wondering, what can I do with my advents? If you have an advent and you have just did something small like a cowl and have a ton of leftovers, or if you're like me and open it all and then wait to see what to do with it and don't really know what to do with a lot of minis, this is an excellent option. If you don't want another shawl that's going to last forever, you will need a couple of skeins of the main color. So I think it's between 1 and 3 depending on your size. But this is the My Favorite Adventure sweater by Tristan Molina of Dragonhoard Yarn. I've made 2 of them. This one was actually done with an advent. So I'd used the tweed advent from Tofino Knit Co. for this one a couple years ago. I think it was the 2023 advent. I did most of it during advent, so I'm very proud of myself for that. I'm still using the leftovers for it though. But Tristan did design it so that no matter what size you wear, you can make each stripe with a 20-gram mini. I did this one a little different, so it's generally the main and the contrast color are flipped on the sleeves, and I did my first one like that, but this one I wanted to use a little bit more of the main color because I bought an extra for it just to make sure I had enough. But I really like it's all simple 1x1 color work. You don't have to carry your floats, you don't have a million ends to weave in like the sea glass tees and such like that, but it's really nice. Again, I didn't do as much of the neck as you're supposed to because I don't like things super close to my neck. But it's a really great option for your advents. Looks good on everyone. I did like a black and rainbowy one for my test knit. I'll pop a picture in here so you can see that because it is currently buried in the wash pile. So I didn't want to wear that one. But it's a really great way to use up some of your minis. And yeah, if you've done something small with a cowl, I think I did size 6, and I think the most I used of any of them was 13 grams on the one that had it dominant in the stripes. So as long as you have 10 to 15 grams of your minis, you've got lots. And if you have a contrasting main color in your skein, or your advent comes with a main color or 2, it's a really great option for that. So again, it's the My Favorite Adventure sweater by Tristan of Dragonhoard Yarn. And again, even if you don't make it, take a look at some of the projects. because there's been some really cool color options for it, and it looks good in a fade, it looks good with stripes, anything. My first one was more faded, and then this one's more stripes because she let us go rogue and I was just picking and choosing day by day. So it looks good with stripes and fades and everything. It's definitely a super comfy sweater, and again, I get a lot of compliments on this one, and this is probably my second most commented on sweater that I have. But yeah, they're really comfy, super cozy, and it's a really great way to do something a little bit bigger with your outfits. Yeah, those are my favorites. I was gonna go for 5, but threw in the 6 because 'tis the season, right? And those of you that have a lot of leftovers, it's a really great way to use them up in January for something that's gonna be nice and cozy all through the spring. Thank you for joining me on this ride to take a look at some of my favorites, and keep tuned next year to see what I end up making again. There's definitely the one plan to make a second one of my most worn knit, and we'll see if another lace and fade boxy happens. But I do have plans for a lot of fun new things as well, so hopefully I'll be back a little bit more often, and have a wonderful day. It was lovely to spend some time with you. Happy knitting.